Yo, 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 yo. It's the Canadian plug, and I'll be talking about on why I think this Drake album is a classic. So let's get into it. So first of all, I think this Drake album is a classic because it's like it's legendary in every way. It's like I feel like this album like it put Drake in like a different stratosphere, like in the hip hop and R&B world of side of things. And I feel like it changed the game, like from the cover art to the features, the production, the amount of all time great song it has. Like it's a classic in every way. Like the album was like really like was largely like it was like in a like a it was largely like an emotional like singing like R&B album, and like it like showcased Drake's versatility, like as far as like him being an artist, like he was flowing between like singing and rapping. Like for example, like he had the intros track Over My Dead Body. He was like rapping on that, and then you got a song on like Marvin's Room where he's just like singing like pouring his heart out and stuff. And I feel like that's what like trademarked his like symbol of greatness. And one of the greatest things I feel like that like about like one of the greatest things I feel like helped like Drake's career with this album. Like not only did it like not only it launched Drake's career, but like it also like there's also like a couple other artists as well that it like their careers got launched because of this album. Like Kendrick Lamar, like Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd were like literally like the only one, like the only up and coming like names at that time. Like they and both of them like made appearances on this album, which is crazy because like now we're talking about like this whole Drake versus Kendrick thing, but like Kendrick, Kendrick was on Take Care, like on an interlude. Like Drake, like that was like he was a fan of Drake, so like yeah, and like yeah, it was a crazy album, man. It was crazy, and like I could like, and then the songs are like catchy. Like for me, like I was like when this album came out, it was like a lot of songs were catchy. It was like I could like rap every word, like sing every word, like from front to back, and I feel like it's like the most like important and like as far as like my generation, it's like the most like important album of like all time, like as far as like my generation. So yeah, and Headlines is like arguably like probably like the most like recognizable song on the album. Like I said, I feel like it served as like a message like to the game, even like as a upcoming star, like at the time. Like he was constantly making headlines, like whether it was like his friends or like he had like enemies or stuff like that. Like they know about him, like and then he did like records with this album. Like he surpassed and like smashed records with this album. Like and then something like I felt like that was unique to the album was like the outro poem that was like spoken by Drake, and it isn't like in any like single like version. It's not like in any like other like version of the song or like single or whatever. And like there's another song on it called Crew Love, which was like the introduction, like the vocal introduction to the weekend, like who also I'll give credit to, who I'll produce like somewhere around like half of Take Care. And I feel like the friendship between Weekend and Drake was like interesting. Like it was like an interesting revelation through that song. So like the song along with the outro track, the ride, like that introduced me like he's even on that song too, the ride, like that instantly, like after that song I became like the week I started listening to the weekend, like he became like one of my favorite artists after that. And like the song itself was like it compromised like the chorus, like, and then it had like the opening verse like by the weekend, and like the song, like it spoke on like the realities of like stardom and how the pleasures, the pleasantries like drown out the what could have been, like the diplomacy and like normal life. And then there's also another song on it, another classic called "Take Care" that featured Rihanna, and like which was a classic too, because they all remember they already worked together on the other song called "What's My Name," and then like the song was basically about like, oh, like whatever like they go through, like she'll take care of him or something like that. And yeah, whatever. And then yeah, and then the next song was Marvin's Room. Now that was a banger. Like that was crazy. It was basically a reference. Like if people don't know, it's a reference to Marvin Gaye studio in which like Drake recorded the song. Like and he apparently it was like in a drunken like rant or something like that. And then he calls like this person like a girl, right? And says that like she could do better, and he knows that she still has feelings for him or something, because she picked up the phone. And then like the drunken aspect of the song makes it like more enticing as you like listen to it. And it makes it more entertaining to like imagine the song as like an actual like conversation between two people. Like it's like it's like a movie. Like it's like, it's like you can visualize it. It's like, and then the song, like it did huge success. It was like largely like considered like the best. Like it was like considered like the best and like saddest and like deeply like personal song. And then it served as like the perfect like breakup music, like when you're like, down in the dumps. And then we get to the Barry Alive interlude, man. So this introduces us to another superstar, Kendrick. So like he's like the only like he's like the only artist like speaking on this song. Like there was no Drake on this song. It was just a Kendrick interlude. So like he just speaks on how like the fame and fortune like changed him as a person. And then like the intro is basically like an odd like directly to the like personification of like success, and an open admission that like that's like the death of the beholder or something like that. And then he even goes as far as to explain that like the scenario that like brought him to like the fame and success when he met Drake. And then one of the lyrics, he says something like, blame Mr. OVO XO Drake for the way he acts, as he's like he's basically like giving him credit, like, oh, he's the reason why he introduced him to like the vanity as they know it or something like that. So yeah, he was just like giving like Drake credit at the time, which is crazy because now it's like, now these two are like, they're like rivals now. Now we're like, oh, is it Drake or Kendrick? But yeah, that was like our, like, for, I don't know about anyone else, but that's the first time I heard Kendrick. So I don't know about everyone else, but yeah. And then there's another song on there called Underground Kings, which was like another like one of the best songs on the album. Like it captured like the essence of like rapping Drake, which like everyone, like the real like Drake fans like. So it also like, for people I don't know, it serves as a it served as like a homage to Pimp C, who was a member of the UGK rap group with Bun B. The song was like fast paced, when and it highlighted like the path to success for like artists, and it had like a shout out to Weezy. So, and it was also like the songs all it just showed like the testament like of hard work to his city. And like that was like one of like the most important things to him. Like it was like the song was basically like a break from like the emotional songs like from before, and it gets like the mind and like, racing and stuff. So and then getting to Lord Knows, which was featuring Rick Ross. So this song was like it had like a choir like in the background, which was crazy. Like Drake went crazy on this. He was like, "I'm really killing shit. Fuck all the jiggy rapping. I just want to go see my nigga go trigger." I'm like, yo, this man was snappy on this song. It was crazy. And then the song it had like a choir in it. It had the trap beat put together by Just Blaze. Man, Just Blaze a legend, man. He's definitely like one of my favorite producer lists. Like his beats when you get a Just Blaze beat, it's like just know it's gonna be fire, man. Just and it was like it had like a verse from the song had like, it was a compromise of like a long like it had like a long verse from like each artist. And what makes like this like album a classic was that like I feel like no one else in the game was like drop like there like no one else in the game at that time was dropping one verse that was like over like 3 minutes long than with like the fall like then following the always like humorous like Rick Ross. And then when getting to Rick Ross verse, he like his verse was basically like he just like questions like the per like the he just questions like the like just like fame in general, like the like people that speak on his name and how he continues like to be like the king of the game or something like that. And then yeah, it was yeah, the song was basically crazy, but like yeah, it was yeah, Lauren like yeah, it was crazy. And then getting to Look What You've Done, like that's probably like the most important song on the album. It's like basically like a thank you to like Drake's mother, grandmother, uncle, and their role in his success. And it's like how it's like how it's like great to like sit at the top and look back and down and like remember like how you like rose to success. And like like he needs like saying thank you on the song. So this song is like probably like one of the best to listen to on the album. And like he's like he's explaining it. It's like a storytelling element to it. And then at the very end, there's like a voicemail from like Drake's grandmother, who is like, like she's like reminiscing of the times that they had together. And then like it's like yeah, you had like a beautiful like ending to a great story. And then lastly, you had The Ride, which featured The Weeknd, which this song take like it took us like on a fame and fortune like affects like world of view of the artist. And like in a how like impacted like how impactful it was, not only him but like those closest to him. And there's like three verses, like three like different verses, like therefore there's like three different verses and like three different like phases. And then so like he like describes like so like Drake basically like describes like the initial like aptitude of like fame, and then how he's like taking care of like friends and family, and like the woman that's like sworn to him, and how he like gets to places like he never got across to until like the fame got to him. And then he like it leads to like conflict in his personal life, which like we see in like the second verse. And then so basically like the second verse of that song is like Drake getting like ahead of himself, like letting his like like his like not letting like the fame like get to his head, and like how he makes like like how he makes like rash decision, like quick decision, in like order to like maintain like his appearance of fame, like leasing a Rolls Royce like while still living in his mother's house. And then at the same time at the same time he's basically like he no longer felt at home like while he was at home. And he will like stay with his like lifelong, and he will stay with like his friend and producer OVO 40, which like does like a lot of the Drake production and albums and stuff. And like how he like spends like huge amounts of money on like the wrong things, that's like leads to more and more conflict, and those around him will secretly like like begin to hate him for these things. And then the third verse is basically is like where he made it, like after months away from home, like how he looks back to see what's changed. Like he realizes that like not like he's realizing that like not much has changed. And then this is like his commentary on how despite the city making him who he is, he doesn't he like despite the city making him who he is, he doesn't necessarily like need the six as much as they need him, as such as like, you know, like he's saying like he's saying he like he's bad, like he says like he sees how like the money makes him and those around him happy, and then like in addition like his money and all that, and then he like, yeah, he leaves us like, yeah, that's basically it, man. So like the album like is basically like, so this album is like it takes us on like the ride and of fame and fortune that like Drake has experienced, and then like however he explains that like we're probably like, it's like we'll probably will never know why like he's like, I don't you yeah, whatever, like he just, yeah, like he's just being like in an impossible situation basically. And yeah, and then like it's basically just like the heights like of fame and stuff, like he's like dealing with like women and all that. So yeah, and then yeah, this album's definitely a classic, man. It inspired like a whole generation, inspired a lot of artists, inspired Tory Lanez, inspired Party Next Door. Who else? The Weekend, and like the Weekend, like yeah, inspired a lot of people, man. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Take Care is a classic. Peace.